Hello, hello, hello. Right, I've not streamed for a while, but there's been some interesting MAME news over the last few days. Not least the emulation of the Compact Vision TV Boy from Gakken, which is one of those early Japanese consoles. Didn't have much of a library, I think 5 games total, but it's just been emulated. So I thought, why not give it a little bit of coverage, have a look at those games. They're sort of all arcade adaptations, slight twists on arcade games. It was released, I think, in 83. So, I mean, this game says 81, but I think that's the original copyright for the game. As far as I know, the system is 83, but at least based on what MAME tells me. So, yeah, you see, it says 1983 Gakken, so I think that's just the original game copyright there. So, anyway, welcome, X-Keeper. Good to see you in the chat. If this is your first time here, I hope I can find something entertaining to show you, or maybe if you've seen my posts on Twitter or Twitch or Twitch or Discord, and just join that way. I don't know, but I hope you're doing well anyway. And yeah, I think I'm just going to crack on with playing the games. I don't plan on this being an especially long stream, but let's start with Frogger. As you can see, it's on the screen right now, and yeah, it's an arcade frog. Arcade frog, arcade port. Not much animation here with your frog, move left and right, up across the road. The river is the same colour as the road because, well, the system doesn't have much of a path. And apparently your time is quite strict, so I think I timed out there. Or something, I'm not even sure. Or can I not jump on the red ones? Or can I jump on the red ones? I don't know. There we go. One frog is home. Yes, you've seen Frogger before, and I think this is a licensed port. I mean, it's called Frogger, and I'm pretty sure you couldn't really just call your game Frogger unless you had a license. So this is, I'm assuming, an official part of Frogger's history. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So I'm not super familiar with this system. Oh. It seems to have the basic game elements, though. You see, I just jumped into a crocodile there. I mean, the crocodile seemed to start early, though. I mean, I don't remember. Quite difficult Frogger port. I don't remember them being crocodiles quite this early, usually, but I suppose they want to throw you in the deep end. So yeah, let's play this a little bit. I mean, it's a fairly basic game, but it's got a tune, not the Frogger tune, but it's got a bit of a tune. It's not one of those that plays in silence. Getting that one on the left is going to be tricky because very little to move. Yeah, you've got the snake zooming across on the middle here already. I don't know if this is somehow set on a harder difficulty by default. Come on. This is difficult. So, let's try again. Hey Pika, welcome. I am live, yes, I'm live and showing some rather old games that have only just been emulated. So yeah, wow, the timer is really strict on this. I don't know if there's I don't know if there's an easy setting, but this Frogger is showing me that I'm not very good at Frogger. Right, come on, I need to get across. There aren't any switches, are there? Machine configuration, no artifacting. Just the basic button. Oh, okay, I think it's just a tricky version of Frogger. Right, apparently we have some sort of odd spammy type thing in the chat, but I don't know if it's an advert. Just ignore it if it's some sort of spam. If you're outside, is it as cold there as it is here? Because we're having some rather cold weather right now. Okay. Frogger is making me look very bad at Frogger. There we go. Got the one on the left. That's the one that's going to be the trick. So that's going to be the tricky one, and then I do that. Come on. So you don't have to be too precise in getting in the little holes at the top, which is good because it's not a version that offers much room. I mean, you're moving in big, chunky pixels here. So it's an aggressive version, as I said. Right, let's try and get across here. Come on. There we go. That's 4 frogs then. Can we get the 5th? No, we cannot. We can't. No, I don't think I'm doing this for fame. I don't think anybody... I mean, obviously some people who are interested in these really old systems might be overjoyed to see this one emulated, but these days there's not much point in playing this version of Frogger. Unless you... Oh, I'd say if you want a challenge, maybe, but it is primitive. But no. Now, it's quite significant. I guess you can't jump on the green ones. Okay. It's quite significant because this was a tricky one to get dumped. The hardware relies on... there's no CPU in the main system. The CPU is in the cartridges. Oh, come on. So every cartridge just contains the single CPU chip, which is a... What is it? Hold on. System information. It is a 6801. So, yeah, it's quite a simple CPU, but because the ROM is built into the CPU, it's not until recently that it's been possible to dump these. So this has been sat there, getting older and older by the year, with no way to emulate it until now. It would be nice to complete a stage on this Frogger game, wouldn't it? Come on, let's get... Do the logs just wrap? Is that what I'm missing here? Can I predict when a log is going to come? Yeah, I think they just wrap, don't they? So, yeah, you know... Okay, that might make it easier. I can predict... Wow. This is difficult. You can predict when they're going to come because they wrap around, and there's only... Although sometimes they wrap around as crocodiles, and sometimes they wrap around as logs. So, if anybody in the chat has played this version of Frogger before, I'd be surprised, but... Timer as well, look, timer. Do let me know. I know this is not going to end... Well... Yeah, Frogger, I mean, dates right back to the early 80s, doesn't it? Konami doing it in 81, I think, as we saw from the original screen. This port is, I guess, from 83-ish. But, yeah, one of those real classic arcade games. A lot of people think it's a Sega game, but no, it's a Konami game. Sega did license it in some territories, but Sega made it. You really have no time. You have to be more precise than that. You really have no time. You have to be very, very quick. Oh dear. Oh, go away, go away. Go. You don't play after 8. I mean, it is technically an 8-bit game, but I mean, barely an 8-bit game, even. But yeah, I think the 16-bit era is probably held up a bit better, although to say the classics still do, because I mean, there's a lot more to a piece of hardware than the CPU, and if we call in these 8-bit, it's an 8-bit CPU. I mean, you've got the whole things like the Master System and the NES in the same category, and clearly this is not as advanced as those pieces of hardware by quite a considerable distance, because I mean, things like the video system are just as important as the CPU. I guess why the PC Engine copes so well against some of the technically 16-bit systems. And there we go, I did actually complete one round of this ridiculously difficult Frogger game. Ooh. I've got the lady frog there, I think. That's an extra bonus, isn't it? But yeah, I can understand that. And I mean, I did grow up with some 8-bits. I grew up with my Spectrum and Amstrad CPC, which are both capable of doing a bit more than what we see here. But yeah, the 16-bit, a lot of the 16-bit art holds up so well too. And that's, you've got some like the SNES games and the Mega Drive games that they look stunning still, many of them. Yeah, I'd say MAME got CPS done quite early on in its history, but you know, relatively CPS is quite a simple platform, so it was an easy one to get done early. It was flashy, but not flashy because it's super advanced hardware. It just has basic tile map sprites and a 68,000 processor. Now go away, Mr. Yeah. No. Whereas this, well, it doesn't have much at all. I think the video hardware is in the main system here at least. So you can see what, 4 colours. Very, very chunky pixels. Is this game meant to be this hard? I mean, maybe they made it this hard because this is all you get for your money. But there doesn't seem to be any difficulty progression here. It's just, here's the hardest level of Frogger. Have fun. Come on, time's going to run out, isn't it? Yep. But yeah, these days, obviously, most of the interesting arcade platforms have been emulated, so it's kind of up to projects like MAME to, you know, sweep the board and look at all these things that would otherwise be forgotten that may not be super popular, you know, even back in the day. And I think if you want one of these TV boy things, they're ridiculously expensive. I don't know how well they sold back when they were a proper product back in the day, but I'm guessing not as well as some of the others, and the tiny, tiny library probably tells you about that. Yeah, that was a bit of a problem for MAME back in the day, really, because you know, if people were playing brand new games on the emulator, it did attract the wrong kind of attention. You don't really get that anymore, apart from some indie games maybe, because people are still making games for some of these older platforms. But a lot of those people don't really mind them being used in emulators because they use emulators to develop them. Yeah, I mean, everybody's been introduced in different ways for different reasons. When I first started doing work on MAME myself, I don't think I could have imagined quite what we've accomplished since then. Every day I find something, some new rabbit hole to go down, some new system we've not emulated, something else to study, or we recently emulated another karaoke system that until more, you know, maybe a year ago I didn't even know existed, that type of thing. So that was the Frogger port to the Compact Vision TV Boy. Incredibly difficult, I have to say. That was my general take from that one. That was not an easy version of Frogger to play. But we'll move on to a different one of the TV Boy games. This one is Excite Invader. Now, as you may gather from the title, this is a sort of Space Invaders game. Yeah. I mean, the arcades themselves kind of just died after a while in terms of new content, so or just all moved to PC hardware that we can't really emulate. So you know, the project has to find something new to do. Although we still do make quite a few improvements to the arcade games. I think Mighty Guy, the Nichibutsu game, just had a few improvements, and Taito's Kiki Kaikai, the MCU is now emulated on that. Those are things we might look at later. But that's that plays a bit differently now, Kiki Kaikai, because the MC on that controls the collision detection. So previously it was all guesswork. So yeah, this is Space Invaders, but basically turned on its side, and the UFO just goes back and forth. Now I think this is more army themed, because this is more like a, you know, a turret, a little sort of artillery type unit. So it's not straight up Space Invaders, but at the same time, it is. It makes more sense done this way, though, because you've got more horizontal screen space. And if you look at some Space Invaders clones where they've tried to do the game on a horizontal screen, it just feels too wide. Because the original game was vertical. So it was tipping it on its side. Gives you about the same amount of space to shoot as you would have on the original vertical monitor, but obviously the game plays sideways. This is much easier than the Frogger version. Yeah, I think I started working on MAME stuff in about 1999. So, what, 25 years? It's been a while. I mean, back then, some of the first stuff I was working on were decrypting the graphic data on some of the NMK shooters, like Macross and things like that. And the Sega C2 system, which is the one that has got pure columns and games. Such games, and some weird bootlegs like Winter Bubble. So yeah, and then I sort of became interested in other Sega systems. So I did some, I think, Sega System E, the Master System based one with Hang-On Junior, and then lots of other things. So I've kind of always had the interest in the non-arcade stuff in the sense of the hardware, because a bunch of the early stuff like the System E and System C were based on consoles anyway. But that's just, you know, it makes the path MAME took just feel like the circle is complete, because we're emulating all these systems that use kind of home hardware anyway. This isn't too bad. I think this is the opposite of opposite of Frogger. In fact, this is quite easy. The UFO's large and there all the time, so you can always get the points from that if you want it. And there's plenty of room to move. So see if it gets any more difficult. The first system I had at home would be the ZX Spectrum, which I still enjoy today, and has just got a very healthy development scene actually. The Spectrum. There's some really good new games coming out for it actually, which really make you wonder how they would have been received, and how the system would have been seen back then had those games been part of the commercial life of the system. Because they do things that a lot of people did not think were possible with the hardware. If you've looked at that, was it Ringo, I think it's called, where they've got a chunky pixel mode with larger pixels, but it's very, very vibrant, colourful, fast-moving, no colour clash. It's like, well, I know how they did it, but it's still a real technical feat. Yeah, it's horizontal here, but I think it kind of it works like this. I mean, this is MAME, so I mean we can have a little bit of fun here if we want. We can go like this, and then I can go video controls, screen naught, rotate. Let's pretend it's let's pretend it's the way it's meant to be. There we go. You see. Now, yes, I know you'd have to turn your TV on its side to get this effect, but as I say, this is MAME, so we've got video controls and we can rotate things as much as we want. So now you see so I can see why they did it as horizontal, because it gives you more room on a regular non-rotated TV. But yes, I'm just decided to rotate the TV. I don't think any of these are in BASIC. This is just a very simple and quite weak piece of hardware. I mean, I don't think this even has BASIC. It's that old. Although, unless you're talking about Spectrum, in which case, yeah, they wrote some games in BASIC. I mean, you don't see many games in BASIC now. You didn't really get then, apart from the really shoddy ones. But, this does seem a bit easy, unfortunately. Shall we turn it back the right way around? Turn it back the right way around and stop having our fun. There we go. rotated it back. There's one thing you can do in MAME though, which not that many emulators let you do. But it's not always that useful. It's usually if you want to play, say, some of the PlayStation shooters that let you rotate the TV. I'm not sure many of the standalone emulators let you do that. So, is that game over? That is game over? Yeah, that's game over. So that one was Excite Invader. It's quite playable. Bit easy, I would say. I mean, yeah, I did game over in the end, but if you've watched any of my streams before, you know my ability to play and talk is terrible. So if I was playing that in my own time, I think I'd be playing it for a long, long time without dying. So let's move on and see what else we've got. I believe we have Mr. Bomb. Now, this is maybe not such an obvious port. Mr. Bomb by Gakken. It's yeah, if you want a very early system that you've probably never played before, it works. So this seems to be collect the bombs. I mean, Atari had a few games like this. And refill your water. There we go. Remember to hydrate. What's it called? Avalanche, I think it is. The 2600 had a similar game. Oh, I did not remember to fill up with water, so and you can't miss any bombs. Okay, okay. And you've got a pause button, which I just used. Yeah, I think Gakken are mainly known for the LCD type games. Actually, things, you know, a bit like the Game & Watch things. What's that? What? I have a hole in my cup. That's not good. Was I not meant to collect the penny thing? I don't know. But yeah, I think Gakken are one of those that they tried, but ultimately, you know, they couldn't compete. I mean, this was '83. It wasn't long before we had what, the Famicom, the NES, and you try and compare these systems, and right, I need to get more water. They're not really comparable, are they? I mean, I know the industry moved quickly at the time, but yeah, I'm going to avoid that because that made a hole in my cup last time, which was, well, awful for me. This is trickier than it looks. No, don't want that thing. Again, it's a very basic game with this. I'm assuming that's Mr. Bomb at the top there, who... Oh, I've got a hole in my cup anyway. Great. Now, I don't remember the other games like this actually having that, well, the whole water mechanic and anything like that. So... it's a bit different. Hey Tara, welcome, welcome. I'm glad to have you lurking, even if you can't talk much. I mean, I'm not sure there's a whole lot to say about some of these games. Now my cup's smaller. I feel like we've got a bit of shrinkflation going on here. My glass is shrunk. Keep it topped up though. Does catching bombs in cups really work? And I have many questions. I'm avoiding that. Anyway, so I've got 3,000 points. I think of the game so far, I like this one the best. Even if some of these situations seem impossible to deal with. You had your 5G update today. You mean... oh, I caught the thing. You mean your COVID jab? Yes, you did mention that, didn't you? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what 8,800 yen is worth in today's money, because Japanese current, the yen and its value is quite different to the US dollar, especially in terms of value over time. The inflation has been it's not sort of inflated on the same level as the US dollar, at least, so it's not always as easy to compare. No, I don't need water now. So yeah, I kind of think this one's alright. Again, you'd probably get bored of it quite quickly. I mean, imagine if this was the only game you had to play at home. And again, if you had a TV vision, you would have a choice of 5 games. So you wouldn't have much else anyway. Yes, Shigaisen. Oh, we have a Master Red Freddy 2. Thank you, Master Red Freddy 2, for following. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hello, and I hope you're enjoying seeing some very old Japanese games that have only just been emulated. Yep, this is one of those situations, because you've only got a limited number of these pause things, so you can't just pause at any time. I think you get like 1, maybe per round. You know what it reminds me more of? Dragon 32. I think it's a similar video family to the Dragon 32 type stuff and the original Coco. I think it's one of those Motorola reference designs. So maybe somebody could port this to the Dragon 32, or not. But I should do some more Dragon 32 games on stream, shouldn't I? Celebrate the Welshness of it. So let's catch some more bombs. I wonder how many bombs Mr. Bomb has, and if Mr. Bomb is a terrorist. Typically, you don't carry this many bombs around with you. It's not really considered normal, socially acceptable behaviour. Top up. Oh. Welsh, Spanish, possibly. I mean, same thing, aren't they? Yeah, so I think it is pretty much, say, a Coco style video chip, if not the same. Not too much. It was Hap who got the driver running after Sean Riddle, who is one of the people who does a lot for MAME, got it dumped. Sean Riddle's also been dumping something else, which is the Tiger Electronic Pit Fighter. We've got that one to look forward to one day soon. So I know everybody loves Tiger Electronic games. Now, when Kim Justice did a stream on Pit Fighter, we did notice that the Tiger version wasn't emulated, so I mentioned it to Sean, who said, "Oh yes, I have the Tiger one. We can get it emulated, so that will be coming to MAME soon." So yeah, Mr. Bomb was, I guess, a take on Atari's Avalanche. And the next game, say we've got what, 5 of these things. The next game is Robotan Wars. Now, I could ask you to guess what Robotan Wars is, but yeah, 66847. I think that is the same thing, isn't it? This is clearly, well, Robotron, but not twin stick Robotron, just very simple Robotron with a very weird. Can I collect these? Yeah, you can collect the little red ones. They're the humans. So it's very basic Robotron, isn't it? Robotan Wars. What are these ones? Nope, they kill me. Figures. Yeah, this was still the era where you can't really tell what things are. So the first time you're probably going to die just finding out. Oh, you can't even shoot those ones. Interesting. Yep, and it's got that look, doesn't it, Antaeus? It's got that look. You can kind of tell. It's the ugly colours. Oh dear. So, I think at least some of those use very similar CPUs too. So Hey, you could probably port these and then play these games on some other systems if you wanted to. But yeah, I mean, I know I'm probably being a bit mean about the visuals, but you know, people did make fun of the Dragon 32 for being so green, and it's what that chip does. What are these ones now? The boxes. I can shoot the boxes at least. Now, I think without twin stick controls, Robotron becomes a lot trickier because you have to be moving in the direction of things, which means you can't get really close to things. Because then if you want to shoot them, you end up moving into them, which is what I keep doing. Oh, we've got different boxes. The pixel resolution is so low here. This thing is super cramped. Yes, rescue the humans. And keep the box. Yeah, 6801. I mean, that's the 6801 is the integrated integrated MCU version, which is why these were so tricky to dump, because say there's no separate ROM. The ROM is inside the CPU, which is inside the cartridges, which sounds like an incredibly inefficient way to do things, and expensive, because you know you would have thought the CPU would be an expensive component, and you would want to put it in the main system, not in the cartridges. But there's quite a few of these early systems where they put the CPU in the cartridge. There's another one that I was looking at that unfortunately I've not managed to get emulated, which used a very similar approach, you know, the CPU in the cartridge. I suppose it meant that they could potentially improve and upgrade CPU capabilities over time, but that basically never happened. Don't shoot the humans. A Llamatron clone rather than a Robotron. I mean, I doubt the developers of this have ever played Llamatron. I mean, have I played Llamatron? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. They're all Robotron clones, aren't they? I think one of my favourite Robotron clones is, what is it? Wild West? Is it Wild West here on the Spectrum? There's two games that are very similar, but I do enjoy both of them. I think there's like, is it Dustman and Wild West Hero, something like that? Very, very similar Robotron clones. I could be getting the names wrong. I have played them on stream before. Very good fun. I mean, this isn't awful. It's got a variety of enemies, but the only ones I really notice any difference. These ones you can't shoot. Obviously, the humans you pick up. I don't know why these ones look weird. Have they got different behaviours? I'm assuming I can't pick those up. No, they can still. Jeff Minter only ever made original games. I may have some doubts there on Tess. He made good games. He could take a game and make it incredibly appealing, and he was really, really good at that. And I do like his work. But I guess you know, psychedelic pretty patterns are always have appeal to them in a weird way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad he's still around doing games. To be fair, if you've played any of his recent stuff, it follows that formula. You know, it takes something and just makes it very flashy and interesting visually. So anyway. I think we know what this is now. Yeah, the other enemy types aren't really distinct in what they do. I mean, they don't seem to be firing at me. So why do they look different? Amazon Prime gave the game away for free recently. What is his latest one? I know he did the Aka thing based on the Atari prototype, which Limited Run still have not sent me my copy of for some reason. Do these follow you? Yeah. I should have just bought it. I like the American cover better, so I ordered it off Limited Run, and It's been sat there ready to ship for about 6 months. And I don't know what's going on with that. Oops, that shot the human. So yeah, there's all these box type enemies, but I don't see what they do differently. Yeah, that's what the one based on the Atari prototype. The Atari prototype is actually really good and probably should have been released. I think it's another one of those that now it's turned into a weird clock. I don't know. Yeah, it's based on a pretty good game. I mean, that's one of Atari's best games that didn't get released, and the ROMs only showed up for that a few years ago. But I think maybe it just confused players a bit too much because you've got to monitor too many things. You've got you zooming in, zooming out in different sectors. And I get, oh, things are firing at me. Finally, I'm facing some bullets. So it was worth playing a little bit. But yeah, that's a pretty good game. I've not played the no port yet because I'm waiting on my physical copy. But it looks good. And I have played the... oh, those ones fire up and down. Okay. And diagonal. I mean... yeah, okay. They got me. They did me. It's this is a perfectly playable take on Robotan, really. A little bit cramped, but you expect it for the system. But we're not done yet. There's still more games to go on this system. This one is Shigaisen 2000X. No, I don't know. This one does not have an easy English title. I don't know what this is. It's not pairs. No, it's not pairs. I can move. Oh, it's kind of like a maze driving game. I can't crash into the walls, but they do block me. I'm the red one, by the way. I'm not sure this is an exact copy of an arcade game. I don't know. There's plenty of games where the physical game is still on the cartridge. I mean, I avoid the ones that are just keys. Urban Warfare Year 2000X. Wow, this is set in the past then. This is one of those games where, you know, it is a generic tank game. Yes. What's the closest arcade? I guess things like, what XD's Rallies, things like that. Is that the one? XD have a very similar game. Is it called Rallies? But that's got a bigger grid. I like the way, well, I say I like the way the bullets bounce around. The bullets bouncing around are quite effective. That's a helicopter, isn't it? I've just realised the one that's flying over everything looks like a bee is actually a helicopter. That one on the right, that's a helicopter. The helicopter fires the bouncy bullets. That's what we do. I don't think the XD game has helicopters. Yeah. Okay, so way into the future. You're allowing 10x to be 10. So from 2000 to 2009 on to 2010. Okay. Yes, all the games have been emulated. Is it 6? I have a 5, but yes. 6. I think I have played 5 so far, haven't I? Oh, yeah, they're all dumped and they're all emulated. There's one left to play after this one. So maybe I have played 6. Maybe I should have actually counted the number of games before I announced that there were 5 games. But you know, preparation, not something I'm always mixed up. Oh, this isn't too bad actually. It gives you enough room to manoeuvre around the bullets, but you still. Because you've got like 2 lanes at every level, so there's a slight space where you can avoid things. And the outside here, you've got a little bit more space. So it's not just like Pac-Man where it's just a tunnel. It's a bit more strategy. Would it be nice if there was some more layouts though? We've only got this, you know, this simple grid. And this is all, I mean, this seems like quite a tricky layout already, so I don't think it's going to evolve into anything more difficult. Only 6 games, yeah. A lot of these early systems were like that, Pika. It's you know, it's different companies trying to find a place in the market. For all I know, they may consider 6 games to have been a success. If you look at what other companies were doing around the time, there were lots of single game consoles as well. You know, you would buy a machine that just ran one game. So to have a cartridge-based system with 6 games, okay, you can crash into the helicopter. Never. It's not too bad. It's just, you know, these days we're used to libraries of, you know, hundreds of games. Oh yeah, God knows how many games are on the Switch. You know, you see some people's physical collections are reaching about 2,000. I don't have that many. And then there's all the digital ones. And I think we take it for granted just how big the libraries are. And when you look at hardware this old, you can't do too much with it. I still think it's amazing what Atari managed to get out of the 2600 VCS, because that's a system from '77, and it still holds up really, really well. I mean, it predates Space Invaders. So, you know, Atari did something basically impossible at the time. Whereas these other companies, I think their expectations were a bit different. Their technical know-how was a bit different. I mean, as mentioned, a lot of these are off-the-shelf Motorola reference designs, which is why you've got the same video chip, sort of similar CPU combination, just packaged as a system with the games on. So, yeah, it does feel like I'm playing early Dragon 32 games here, because it's more or less the same tech. And but believe me, these are better than a lot of the games that were released for the Dragon 32, because the Dragon 32 has games by UK-based developers, and many of them play really badly. This is good, solid arcade fun. And yeah, the price point's important too. So the other system I've been looking at, unfortunately stalled with, and you know, probably not going to get anywhere with, because other developers insist on me writing the code in a certain way that I can't work with, was the Epoch Cassette Vision, which I may show a little bit of in a bit, but that one, again, I think the price point is what made it so popular, and that was the most popular system in Japan before the NES. And again, that's only got like, what, 11 games? Between 81 and 84. So, yeah. The cheap systems, you could play some games at home, and we weren't as spoiled as we are today in terms of what's available. Yes, anyway, so that was the Urban Assault thing, which I can't remember the full title of. And now we will move on to the only one of these games I have not played yet. And this is another one with a silly name. Taikuu Daisakusen, which is actually just Super Cobra. And the demo mode is using a different colour palette from the game, and the demo helicopter has had far too much caffeine. Let's actually play the game. Hey, Aussie guy, how's it going? Yeah, you've missed most of the games for the Compact Vision TV by now, Aussie guy, but welcome. It's always good to see you. And yeah, it's maybe I should let people know when the stream's going to be a bit more in advance. But anyway, so yeah, this one you've got a bomb button and a shoot button, and yeah, it's Super Cobra. If you've ever played Super Cobra, which is basically a reworked version of Scramble. That game where you pick up fuel by bombing the fuel. I still don't understand how anybody thought that makes sense. Yes, you don't need a green screen for this to be green. Oh dear. I hit the ground. I mean, they could have used the other palette, or, you know, given as an option, because it does have that whitish pastely colour palette too, and the darker, no, is the dark red one just this one? I don't know. It's not the most visually appealing system in terms of the colour use. This feels like Super Cobra with auto fire. Look how fast your bombs go. It's like I'm crying on the missiles. Yeah. I mean, it scrolls. I mean, it's clearly not horrible at scrolling, but it scrolls. Which game did I like best? Oh, no, it does change in the game. Okay, it's less green now. We do have the second wave. Okay, I see. They've been fancy. This seems more ambitious than the other games. I think my favourite so far is still that the previous one played, the Urban Warfare one. The Frogger port was just everything all at once, no difficulty scaling. This is alright. Just you can fire far too quickly. Oh, you know that's got auto fire. Unless firing quickly drains your oil, I don't know. Maybe I'm meant to be more conservative with my firing. Evening video, Costardo. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you here. I'm more used to seeing you on my my YouTube, so just say first time chat. So thank you for making the jump over here. Oh, I can't shoot these. I have to avoid these. Miss yeah, the Space Invaders one had potential, but it was just too easy. Whereas this has got a different wave. Again, they're just taking ideas and games that are popular in the arcade and trying to make versions. It gets quite tricky at this point, and make their own versions of them within the very limited capabilities of the machine. I believe the Dragon 32 has actually got a really good take on this game, but the Dragon 32 also did not have to store all the game code inside the CPU inside a cartridge, so it had a bit of an advantage in terms of what you could do. By the way, you can't move past the halfway point on the screen if you're wondering why I'm not flying even further ahead. So, yeah, you have to be careful when you navigate this. So, yeah, I think this is technically the best game. Robotan I liked, the Robotan clone, Robotan Wars, because it did mix things up with the waves a little bit. Although it was a bit slow to get started. I think it would have been better if it had it's kind of the opposite of Frogger, where Frogger threw everything at you at once, every single enemy type, and the Robotron one takes about 6 stages before it really gets challenging. I guess you can say, at this point in time, developers were still learning what they could do on home systems, probably trying to understand the success some games had in the arcades. I mean, there was definitely a gulf in quality in terms of the people designing the arcade games at the time and people working on the home system games. That's why arcades, I guess, were so popular back then. They had the right people and good game designs. This is going to be tricky. I mean, you can't. The movement here is very fiddly. And now we've got things that look like ZX Spectrum loading bars. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely pushing the hardware a bit more than the other ones. Right. Okay, let's go. Let's have a look at a few things that aren't well emulated yet that I've been working on, just to get you an idea of some of the other systems. So the other system I was looking at and pretty much abandoned working on at this point was this Cassette Vision, and it had games like Elevator Panic. Now ignore the fact this is squashed in half the screen, but this was, say, one of the big competitors and one of the most popular systems in Japan was this Cassette Vision thing, and it had games like Elevator Panic. This is actually the last game for the system, but you can see this It's not rendering quite correctly. There's no sound at the moment emulated. But you can actually start the game on these. The guy is meant to be in the lift, so the emulation is really, really buggy here. But say that the CPU and the hardware is not well documented, so the fact it runs this well at all is kind of a miracle. But yeah, you can start a game. My little guy's on the lift, but I can move him about, and he can jump. He's the blue guy. And I can get to the end of the level, which I'm meant to have to actually climb up the platforms to get to. Oh, there we go. You see, I feel like I'm cheating here. But now I can't complete this level. I can complete this level. I don't know. You're meant to have to collect all the little light things, but say the emulation of this is completely broken. But the fact this one runs so well. Even now, oh look, I rescued the little person, and again, I love you, which means I've looped the game, but without any of the challenges of the game because the emulation is rather broken. I'm hoping somebody picks this up and gets it emulated, but yeah, I mean, competing against this would have been difficult. This machine, this cassette vision, was ridiculously popular before the NES came along. Look, you've even got moving platforms on some of the stages. I mean, technically the grey bits there are the holes in the platforms, but they draw solid platforms, and they're meant to be black, and they make holes in the platform with black sprites. But because the entire emulation of the system is still very broken, it doesn't work. You can go to the bottom though. You can stay on top of this lift, which you're meant to be inside, and go to the bottom though. Look, oh, almost the bottom, and then fall down the hole. Broken emulation can be fun in its own little ways, can't it? Yeah, the cassette vision was huge. That's why we really do need to try and get it emulated. It's one of the big oversights in terms of emulation, but they made the CPU and architecture specifically for this hardware. This isn't like the other one where it's just the same hardware the Motorola reference design. This is the UPD 777, which is really custom made for this stuff. Although you can actually collect the things as well if you manage to get into a position where you go down. But yeah, there's that. And I mean, this one had its own sort of scramble clone as well. This works even worse than the other one. You can't see your player ship in this one. But if I press start and speed the emulation up, you can see this is a scramble clone too. It's got all sorts of little missiles. The buildings are meant to be full width, full height even. But your missiles launch up. You go along, you go along, you go along. Those things drop from the ceiling too. And this one's even got a boss if you get there. Look. Little boss thing, which you're meant to blow up. And then another level. I'm speeding up to like 5,000% right now. You can see that this had its own take on the Super Cobra Scramble formula too. I'm actually amazed they run as well as they do, considering. What else was there? There was this one had a really dodgy take on Pac-Man 2. PakPak Monster. But the problem is, because the emulation's broken, you can't actually move little Mr. Pac-Man around. And yeah, this Pac-Man game only has what 8 dots in the maze that you have to collect multiple times, and it's a very odd take. But say it's I can turn him left and right, but he never moves at the moment, and needs work, needs a lot of work. But say this is sort of the first time these have been running in any recognizable form under emulation. Yeah, it's a bit like Elevator Action, isn't it? The other one, Elevator Panic. I mean, the 2600 was I'd say a lot more powerful than this in the end. Although the 2600 it lasted a lot longer, and people really worked out how to get the most out of it. What else we got on this? I don't think you played this one at all. There's Monster Block. This one's a Pengo type clone. There's some really good videos for the original hardware on YouTube of this and reviews. But yeah, this one's meant to have you pushing around these blocks. You can see the blocks are there, but for some reason it starts you off completely off the screen and you just die. So it's not playable. The problem is it's barely documented. We've got the original chip designer did write up a bunch of stuff about the hardware and explained how to get the chips dumped, but his CPU document has some opcodes that aren't well explained. And there's some very specific opcodes that do very specific things, and it's not that easy to work it out. But it's progress. It's a little bit of progress. It's more than we had a month ago. It's the most they've seen under any emulators. So, you know, maybe one day they will be playable. Oh yeah, the Yosaku. That's the first game, isn't it? Yosaku does boot. Or Yosaku even. I think you can start the game. But this one is based on the still lost SNK published arcade game where you chop down trees. So what can you do in this one so far? Yeah, you can move your little guy left and right. The axe sort of moves away from him. So there's clearly a bit of a logic bug here, because when I move left, my axe moves off the screen. Come back to me, magic axe. No, I've lost my... And you can jump. You can jump. No, I can jump. I could jump. Now I can't jump again. Now the blue bug is coming to get me. Just kill me. But yeah, you can tell what it's meant to be. It's so close, but it's so far away. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. And I think it locks up when you die. We can have a look at what. I mean, this might not be the most fascinating stuff to show, because these are all not properly emulated, but the baseball one. You can start the game, and you can press a button, and it will swing. So, come on, I'm gonna get a ball thrown. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. I don't know. The new baseball maybe doesn't work as well as the old baseball. They released 2 baseball games on it. It's got a tiny library, and for some reason it got baseball and new baseball. What does the original baseball do? And every button just swings. Anybody gonna make me hit a ball? Because I can swing the bat. Oh, I press. Oh, there we go. I press a button and it does throw the ball. There we go. So again, you can almost tell. You know, I've got 2 players on bases. It's so close to being what it's meant to be, but it's. I bet it's something really obvious and simple. Yeah, Yosaku was developed by Orca for SNK. Orca, who obviously ended up being Toaplan. Orca, also known as Dolphin, because they use a dolphin as the logo. If you look at some, I think the Akazukin, it credits a dolphin because they used the dolphin logo. But yeah, you say you can hit the ball here. Although it all seems to go to the same place, which is not useful. Or it doesn't go anywhere. So, oh, there we go. See, it goes either there or straight to one of the fielders. I think the scoring's a little bit broken because apparently everybody's on 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. But hey, yeah, it'd be nice if the original Yosaku turned up, but I don't know. Can we get somebody? Yeah, we got somebody home, and the score is still 4, 4, 4, 4. Hey, there are logic bugs in the emulation. Whatever. So there you go. There's some not really very well emulated cassette vision games, which I don't know, you might have enjoyed seeing. Let's switch to a different view. So, I've actually been working at emulating some more brick games. So this is the wrong place. So this one's actually called Block Game, apparently. Block Game and Echo Key GA8888. And this was decapped and the ROM dumped by the same person who dumped the other Block Game. Why have we got CRT shaders on? I do not know. Oh, let's just leave on. So this is using a sort of Game & Watch style panel. I need to map the controls properly. Right. Left. Down. That'll do. So, yeah, this is one of those little handheld devices. This seems to have 8 modes, although I noticed it doesn't really have a standard Tetris mode, because even on mode 1, which is the one I'm playing, you get a bunch of weird blocks. Oh, there we go, you see, it's Tetris. Now, we only just found out, well, somebody only just found out how to decap these, but these flashing blocks, like, what did it do? I don't understand the logic of that flashing block. So, there we go. Now, this one has a much smaller play area than the other one that was dumped. This one's, I think it's 8 by 12, which is not your standard Tetris pit size. It's mini pit. And also, we still haven't worked out how to dump the sound data out of these, so unfortunately, still play without sound, and a lot of people do remember the sound on them. Again, we've got a flashing block of 2 here, which did nothing. Unless there's an error in the ROM, because this had to be dumped visually. Photos were taken of the die, and the bits were identified based on how bright they were on the photo, if they were 1s or 0s, which is quite a novel way of doing things, but for some MCUs with mask ROMs, it's a valid way of getting the data out that you can get out otherwise. Now, if I drop this here, it still does not. See, I don't get the special blocks. I'm either using them incorrectly or there's something slightly wrong with them. Could be either. Now I've got a single block. Oh, that one just settled normally as if it was a normal... You see my point. Shall we try again? Let's try again and see what happens. So yeah, and maybe if you had an instruction booklet for this thing, it would tell you the different game modes and what the special blocks do. But in this game mode, I have no idea what the special block does. Apart from annoys me. Maybe it's random. Yeah, it does nothing there. Okay. Start again because may need to try making a row with it. Yeah, possibly. It might give a bonus if I make a row. I think that's what the different game modes on this one are. The flashing blocks do different things, because I was playing this earlier and this isn't how the flashing blocks behaved at all, which is what's thrown me off. They seem to fall through other blocks and like they filled in gaps before. So let's try making... Can I make... It doesn't even make a row with it. Is the flashing block just to annoy me? I don't know. Yeah, okay. But yeah, if I choose a different game mode... No. I choose a different game mode. Like, put it on game mode 4. Now what does the flashing block do? It got rid of some stuff. I still don't understand the logic. In game mode 4, it does something different, you see. Game mode 4, it seems somewhat useful. There, and it got rid of stuff. Don't know the logic behind what it got rid of, but it got rid of stuff. Yeah, I mean, these still look quite good because, I mean, it's not really a traditional video screen. It's an LCD panel, so it doesn't have a fixed resolution. It's more art-based, which can look quite good still. Yeah, I don't understand the logic behind the blocks in this one. But that was, say, the one that was emulate. Well, I got that running last night. Maybe the logic is broken. I mean, say the bits had to be hand identified and typed, so it's possible there's been a mistake, but it might just be how that one plays. I don't happen to own it, so I don't know. The other brick game we did was this one, which is much more traditional. This has a standard Tetris mode with a proper size pit, which plays like Tetris. No weird flashy blocks in this mode. This does have other modes. This has like a snake game in it and stuff too. This one plays a decent game of Tetris. It's not weird. You can still buy these things. If you go into a store, you'll find brick games for sale. Along with actual licensed merch and stuff. You see that this one plays a nice logical, simple game of Tetris. And say it does actually still look pretty good because of the it's not limited to low resolution. The artwork here is what I think the artwork's been done at 1080p. So you've got nice smooth squares and art, and I hope we do find a way to extract the sound though. There is this melody ROM area on the dies, but nobody's worked out how to interpret that yet, so we don't have the tunes. But yeah, these will both be supported in the next version of MAME, I believe, due at the end of the month. If anybody actually fully understands the other one, do let me know. Or if you know it's not working properly, also do let me know. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to know. There are so many variations on these brick game things, or block games, or whatever you want to call them, that it's difficult to know for sure what each one's meant to do. I don't want to put that there. No, I've messed that up. I'm not Tetrising well, am I? Yeah, this has got a flashpoint type game too as well. I mean, we have a look. I mean, say if you not speed, mode 2. Is it that one? Yeah, the flashpoint mode, as other games saying. So you've got to try and clear the flashing block rather than the others, which is sometimes easier said than done. I'm never been very good at these flash modes. So I don't really ever play Columns 2 because that's exclusively a flash mode game. Let's just ignore how badly I'm playing this. How not to play Tetris. No MAME on with. There was a new port of MAME for Droid recently, based on the latest code, which apparently works quite well. I don't know how these things will run in it. I mean, obviously it's based on the previous version, so these aren't in it yet, but they probably run. I can't say I've tried it. But, yeah, so there's that. Those are some things that have been looked at for the next version of MAME. I'm quite happy the TV Boy thing's emulated because it was quite a challenge to get it done and everything else. If you've been following any of my other stuff, you'll see we got like the high karaoke thing running. What else did I want to look at? I think I wanted to look at that because there's been some advancements on that too. The Scion Rie. Last time I looked at this, it had no sound emulation, and now it does. I don't know if I can remember how to use this. I've still got the zooming shade effects on that I don't really need, but now what we don't want is that. What we do want is install disk A. Install Horace. There we go. So this is, if you've played the Horace games on the Spectrum or anything else, you will recognise the character. I did look at this briefly on a previous stream, but I'd say that the sound emulation has been added since. So Horace in the Mystic Woods. Game. Start. Starting easy. So yes, it now beeps when you do things. What's jump? Space is jump. There we go. So there we go. Some sound is clearly better than no sound at all. But yeah, this is probably not the Horace game most people remember. If you say Horace, they'll think of Horace Goes Skiing or Horace and the Spiders or Hungry Horace. But this person organised, I think, did get a Horace game, an official Horace game back in the day. And it's a simple, we've seen far too many of these things. Collect the items on the screen and get to the exit game. Now, this is not related to the Horace games you find on modern platforms. The Horace game on the PC and Switch is actually completely unrelated, but a very good game. This is this is just one of those old things that you have to have some nostalgia for. Hey, Sinclair Research, welcome. You did not know that? Did you not know about this game? But yeah, Horace made its way onto a personal organizer. There we go. Still have the spike. Use it. I have 255 points. Now, not every game on this Scion works yet. Some of them still will error out if you try and move. I don't know why. There's a few with I think there's like a ball tilting one, and as soon as you move the ball, it just crashes. But yeah, this was also remade recently for the Spectrum. Somebody decided they wanted to remake this Horace game, I think using one of the modern game engines on the Spectrum. So there is a version based on this on the Spectrum now, which didn't exist back in the day. See? Okay, I got there. So game over. Play from the last level. You see, I can resume on level 3. But yeah, it's nice to see these little curiosities because I mean I did not know this existed back in the day. Also, welcome to Sinclair Research. I think I recognise you from the YouTube streams, but I'm glad you have made it over here. I hope you're doing well. This will, as all of these, get exported to YouTube afterwards because I think people do like to watch them on there. Oh, that's a tricky jump. That is a very tricky jump. I probably should do this for a horror stream because look at that score. Look at that scoreboard at the side. It's a nightmarish scoreboard. I guess this is meant to be some kind of nightmare. But yes, I don't think anybody really knows what Horace is meant to be. There we go. No. Can I actually make it to that one from here? Probably not. Oh, maybe. Yes, I can. Good. Let's get out of this level. Go. I seem to be getting 255 points on every stage, don't I? That might be a bug. There might still be some maths bugs in the system. Do the clocks kill me? Yes, the clocks are going to kill me. Of course, the score's going to kill me. Of course, the score's going to kill me. Because why wouldn't the score kill me? You don't have to collect the presents. Yes, okay. So yeah, a Horace game that not many people have played, and I just wanted to show it this time because at some point since I last streamed it, the sound emulation's been added, which makes a difference. It's nice to have a little scream when you die and a little beep when you pick things up. So yeah, Horace in the Mystic Woods. Not a bad one to play. Not a bad one to play at all. Yeah, very Manic Miner. ARM has spread more to the PC gaming world. ARM is everywhere these days. But I think the reason there aren't really the official ARM target's not maintained so much is because MAME is very development focused, and there aren't many good ARM-based platforms for doing development with for projects of MAME size. So it kind of gets overlooked. Right, so should we just look at something else now? So we've been streaming for what? An hour and 15 minutes? Yeah, let's have a look at some arcade, well, some arcade stuff. So, Taito's Kiki Kaikai. People might know this as Pocky and Rocky, if you're not familiar with the arcade version. But if you look at the information, you will see it says Motorola 6801, the same CPU type that was used in the Compact Vision TV Boy. But here it is being used as the protection microcontroller for the game, which controls collisions and all sorts of stuff like that. So, yeah, that's kind of a weird coincidence, actually. I did not realise it was the same CPU type as found in the TV Boy, but it is. However, here it is used for protection, not to run a game. And the protection emulation simulation in this one has seen a few iterations over the years in MAME. Back in the early days, it used the 68705 MCU from Night Boy because we thought at the time that was the real MCU. But it wasn't, that was just a bootlegger's version where they'd actually rewritten their own protection code, and it was not accurate. It did not correctly handle some collisions, and people noticed, and people realised that there's no way that that was the original, at least in the that could not possibly be the original protection code. Can I get these things off my back? I don't. Maybe not. Oh, I've just got a friend now. Yes, you have. You would have thought having the teeth might get things off you, but no. Apparently not. So yeah, after it was realised that that could not be the original protection, a simulation was done, and until recently that simulation has been how the protection was handled in this game. Of course, yeah, recently again, much like this was decapped, and I think visually transferred like the Brick games. It does have, I think, a checks and routine, which indicates that the ROM is correct. So I think we can be quite confident that the ROM is now correct and running the original protection code and properly emulating the game. At least I'd hope so. I mean, I've not played it extensively since the MCU was added. I don't think I played it extensively before that. It's not a game I'm super familiar with. But I'm sure other people are, and if there are any issues with it now, they will let us know after the release. Let's give this another go, because that was awful. And I should not be dying that early. So there we go. Probably, I think this will be the last game of the evening, because I did want this to be a short stream, mainly to show off the TV boy stuff. I don't like these things, but I'm now centipede. Maybe I won't be beating the boss. I mean, I can't say I've ever been amazingly good at this game. Like you're about to start a Formula 1 race with this flag. Let's get here to the boss. And let's keep my distance. Not the most aggressive attack, but it's not super easy to avoid. I mean, your attacks aren't super long range, so you can't just stay completely away from it. It's actually quite tricky. If you know anything about arcade games at the time, you will know they typically weren't super easy because they wanted you off the machine quickly. Get a few hits in there quickly. Oh. Yeah, I can't whack them away with the flag, unfortunately. Oh. I thought it'd stop firing and it hadn't. So yeah, game over. Right. One more credit. And if I can't get past the boss, I can't get past the boss. It's not really a game I've ever spent time with. I do have the modern sequely remake thing, the Rocky and Rocky Reshine, which again I find quite tricky. Let's just run for it. Now the other game on the hardware that runs on is Kick and Run, which had its MCU emulated, I'd say a year or two ago now. And the MCU emulation did transfer over fairly most weirdly. Snakes with heads. Human heads. There's probably a strategy I'm missing. Not that. Last try. Getting hits in early seems important, but then you've got to get out of the way again. No. I don't think I stand a chance. I don't stand a chance. Anyway. That is that one. Now, let's have a quick little look at... Is this on Twitch? This is not on Twitch. Let's have a look at my Twitch briefly. Create a dashboard. Right. Community. Stream manager. Okay. Right. So, let me try and work out where everything is in this for now. Hold on, guys. Right, so celebrate early with I don't want to. Why is it doing me? Let's turn the off. I don't want advert streaming. Let's see what we can do. Let's have a little look at this. So I think if I want to raid somebody in this, do I type raid like this? So, right. Does this raid, Kim? Is that how you raid people on this? I can't even remember. No, that's not how you raid. How do you raid these days on this? /raid. So there we go. /raid. Let's send you over to Kim then. Because Kim, I think, is doing the Cathlete at the Sega game, Athlete Kings. And if she's still doing it, I don't know how much of this is showing that game. But anyway, let's just send you over, and hopefully I will see you all on another stream in the future. Thank you for being here. Take care, everybody.